Hello everybody and welcome back to the third part of this tutorial series where we're creating this landing page using Tailwind CSS and we're learning about front-end development. So we're here currently. We have created the hero section in the navbar. A quick reminder that, as always, I'm going to be posting the completed code here on Tailwind. So if you want to copy it from Tailwind, you can just go to tailwind.onrender.com. You can make an account and you can just, for example, this is for the last video, you can just click here the copy button and you can copy the associated JavaScript and HTML. Okay, so let's continue in today's video. In today's video, we're going to be creating this hero bar. So the hardest part about today's video will be this, the border, gradient border. So border colors can't actually be gradient in HTML. So we have to be a bit hacky, but we can get it working quite smoothly. So I'm gonna walk you through how to do that. So for this part here, for the information bar, I'm gonna create a new section. Since they are listed, I'm gonna say UL for an unordered list and li. So each li will be containing will be this box right here. So let's focus here. Let's copy this. So I'm gonna put a div inside to hold the content, and I'm gonna show you why that's important later. So I'm gonna paste the in a paragraph and an h3 certified plus years. Okay, now that we have everything ready and set up, we can continue. So class, first I'm gonna make the text bigger. I think it's about text 2XL, and on small screen sizes, or sorry, on larger screen sizes, we can go 4XL. I think we can also make it font bold and uppercase. I think that's all. Yeah, let's actually decrease it a bit. So yeah, okay, that's good. So on small screen sizes too, now it's responsive and it works, as you can see. So continue on, we can come here and say text extra small and text small on larger screen sizes. So as always, this is 14, this is 12, this is 14. Let's just save and see the changes. Yeah. So now let's continue with the gradient. So first of all, we're not actually making the border gradient. We're making the whole background a gradient. So we go over to the li and we say bg gradient to b indicates to bottom. Then from I think it's from this color, right? It's a color we're being using here. So from FF4954, that's the hex code, to, so it's actually from transparent to the colored, then transparent. So it's from, this will be via. Via means in between. So from transparent via the color to transparent. Now let's just save and see if it works, and it works. Moving on, we want to order a couple of stuff first. First thing is that margin bottom 2, indicating margin bottom 8 pixels. So yeah, so it's 8 pixels if I'm not mistaken. And here we want to give it okay, so let's enter it actually. Let's just say in the content class P6 to give it a 24 pixel yeah, padding from the top and bottom and from the right and left. Also, let's just say this is W. Actually, max width will be fit, meaning only the content only the width you need for the content. Okay, actually, since we're going to be changing a bit of stuff here, let's remove it for now, at least. So let's just go over here and create a div. This div is an empty div. It's not going to house any content, rather it will be used so that we can apply some styling to it to make the gradients work. First, we say we make it this color, right? 0E, 0E, 0E. So BG, uh, and this doesn't exist in Tailwind, so we have to manually say 0E, 0E, 0E. Now, as we save, it doesn't show up because it doesn't have a height and a width. So first of all, let's make it absolute. Let's make H full and W. Okay, so let's make it H full and W. Now in the width, we're gonna be doing something where we're doing 100% minus 2 pixels. So if you're using calc or any function of CSS inside Tailwind, the way to do it is to write it regularly but without making any space. Since if you make a space right here, it will count this as its own class and this as its own class. So be sure to not make any space. Now 100% minus 2 pixels indicates that first of all, we want to fill it. Then we want to decrease 1 pixel from the right and 1 pixel from the left. This means it will be giving some space here. So we're covering the actual background. If you're catching up, I hope this is clear. So then we have to make it centered, right? So we have to say top 1/2, top 50%, left 1/2, uh, translates x 1/2. So actually the top, we don't need the top, we just need the left, transport negative. So this is 50%, this is translating back to minus 50%, which is an age-old tactic or technique actually to create a centered absolute value element. Okay, let's just save and see if it works. So as you can see, it is working and we have a gradient border. But the problem is that the content is hidden. We don't want that. So instead, what we're going to do is we're going to say for this div. Now, this is why the containing the content inside of a div was important. Because now we can say relative. And since we have relative, we can say z index 9. And the content shows up. So all that's left now is, first of all, it might not be as visible as here, since that's because we have the gradient here. So in the next video or the video after that, I'm not sure, we're going to be working on the gradient. So until then, it might not be as visible. But let's continue. Let's make the borders rounded. So we can just go here and say rounded, large 8 pixels, I believe it's. Let's see. Here, let's select this. Okay, so let's make it extra large. And if we zoom in, okay, so that's not applying. Let's try it here, rounded extra large. So it is applying here. We can just say overflow hidden. Okay, so I'm not sure if you can see it, but it is applying here. So actually, let's go over to the div here. Let's say rounded extra large and remove it from the content. That was the problem. Yeah, okay, so now it is working and it's looking like an actual okay, one problem that is occurring is that the actual box is containing the whole width and the whole height of the screen rather than only the content. So we can just simply fix that by saying here relative. Since here, when we say absolute value, it's going to the body to get its values. But now, since we said relative, it's going to the closest relative to it, so that's the li. Well, let's just save. And now everything seems to be working, and even it's more visible. The last thing which remains is to add the others, right? So we can just copy the li and paste them a couple of times, 3 times. First of all, let's actually change the content. This is very simple part. Here, let's change the content, and also let's copy. So let's just select. Okay, we haven't copied it actually. So let's just copy. Okay, and paste it here. Again, having some issues with the copying. Okay, now it works. Uh, Finally, let's copy this and copy this, paste it here. By the way, if you're wondering, if you see my extensions, I'm using the prettier code formatter, so that's why it's formatting on save. Okay, so now that we have the contents actually imported, let's see if it works, and it works. Now all that remains is that to change the actual color. So this is full white, so we can go one up here, and instead of here this color we can say white, and this is actually a color we're being using, so it's violet 700. Okay, so oh sorry, I changed it in the wrong position, so not here, instead via via white and via violet 700. Let's just save, and now they're all applied. Now let's actually work on positioning it, fixing the layout. So one thing that we must know is that it's 1236 max width, and we are applying this, I think, mm, yeah, here on the header, right? So now we want to copy this actually. We want to copy all part from here to here to here. Now we want to actually cover the sections with a main tag. So this is more semantic HTML. So a main tag is used to indicate that the main contents of your page. So now that we have this main tag, we can just go to class and paste this here. So now as we save, it will be centered here. Now the last thing we need to do is to go to this section and then the UL and say class flex. This will put them on the same line. Uh, Here we need to make a couple of spaces. 48 pixels means gap 12. Okay. Then actually instead of gap 12, I'm going to decrease it. I'm going to say gap 8, 32 pixels, gap 8. It's a bit smaller, but I'm going to do here, I'm going to go up to the section and say p x padding in the x direction, meaning from the left and right. I'm going to say 12. So we push the content inside. So that's to get sort of this effect, Yes. So now that we have that completed, let's actually we want them to be the same width. So that's 312. Okay. So we want to go to each of the LIs. Let's just okay. Let's go to each of the LIs and say uh, max W 312 pixels. Okay. So we can go here, paste it, go here, paste it, go here, paste it. Now we have this kind of layout where each of them has the same kind of width, but they're not centered. To do that, that's actually very simple. You can come here and say justify center, just to center them. Great, we're getting there. We're finishing up. Now the only thing left is to centralize the content. So actually, I can say select all of these at once using Control D and say text center. Also the paragraphs. So let's just select them and say text center. That means text center aligned. And everything is center aligned, it's looking great. We're almost done. Only one thing remains. That's that we need spacing. It's tight here, and we need spacing. We need 96, meaning I think 96 is about uh so I think this the scale is here is not correct. So it's actually supposed to be 64, and I'm gonna say 64. So 64. So 64, as we discussed earlier, is 16. 12 is 48. 16 is 64. So PY 16. So about the numbers, you should have the Tailwind documentation open and referring to that so that you know all the classes in the numbers. Now I've worked with Tailwind for a long time, so most of the classes here I already know and have memorized. But when I'm starting, it was like this. So don't worry, just you need to know that you have to open the documentation and refer back and forth to the documentation in your code. So now we have this beautifully designed, working hero section complete, almost complete actually. We have create a gradient and this part, and follow that this part finish the landing page. So we're almost done. So this is all for today's video. I really hope you learned something from this video. Thank you for the amazing support on the series. Uh, Again, if you want the code for today's video, I'm going to be posting it here on ShareWind once while the video is uploaded. It should be already submitted here, so be sure to check it out. And also, you can go to ShareWind and share components you have if you maybe want to share your components. Maybe in the future, I'm making a system for people to earn from their work, so be go there, use it. It's in the early stages, so just message me on DM, use any thoughts, suggestions on X. I'm gonna leave my Twitter or X below, so please go there and DM me your thoughts about the series, about ShareWind, anything. I really hope you enjoyed today's video. Uh, in the next part, we're probably focusing on the gradients. Yeah, until the next time, goodbye.